I'm Kevin Gammonley, Executive Director of the North American Building Material Distribution Association, and I'm joined by our current volunteer president. Tom, you want to introduce yourself?
So I'm Tom O'Neill, the president of NBMDA, and I was very fortunate to be the president in 2020 during our pandemic situation, which I guess is still going on. And our team decided to stay in place for the year 2021 to keep the connectivity and get us through this difficult period we're all in.
Yes, and Tom and myself have been working closely with the NBMDA Board of Directors on a number of initiatives. And one thing we thought of new for this year is a new communication vehicle to communicate with our members at large would be these quarterly video updates. We know members don't like to read a lot of emails, so we thought we would bring some brief video updates on a regular basis to the members to let them know what the association's up to and what they can look forward to in the future. Our next program we want to talk about is our annual NBMDA Financial Benchmarking Report. This is a program that the board has put a lot of effort in the last couple of years. We kind of rejuvenated the program a couple of years ago, found a new partner, rebranded it, put a lot of new resources behind it, and we were successful in increasing distributor participation in the program in 2019. Of course, the timing to launch the 2020 program was not great, right when COVID was breaking. And so our board did make the decision to pause the program last year because we knew the CFOs of our member companies had a lot on their plate, and filling out this survey was probably not going to be a top priority, but we did make the decision to bring it back in 2021. So the program is being developed right now and is getting ready to launch in early April. We have a very streamlined questionnaire that's not difficult to fill out. And if you've participated in the past, your prior numbers are already going to be pre-populated for you, so you can see side by side and update your numbers for 2021. If you've never participated, it's not a difficult process. And there's all kinds of security, confidentiality kind of tools built into it. So there's no need to be concerned from that standpoint. And we also have the ability, if interested, we can get our third-party research company to sign a non-disclosure agreement with your company to add another layer of protection. Tom, I know you guys got involved last time.
Yes, and Kevin, I want to stress something that you mentioned. We were hesitant in the beginning because of the confidentiality and our worries, because we're worrisome people. And you put a very buttoned up program in place, so we do not worry about anything whatsoever when it comes to confidentiality or any disclosure issues. And I also, Kevin, I think it's going to be really key this year, because last year, between the PPE and all these other things that may have been part of a CFO's line budget, this year things change a little bit. So I think it's really important that a lot of companies that did this in the past continue to do it, and those that maybe didn't do it participate in it, because it will really give you a barometer of how you're doing in comparison to your colleague distributors out there.
Yes, for sure. So the survey opens in early April. The final report will be available around the June timeframe. No individual member company's data is recognized and tied to a specific company. It's all aggregated. And as a distributor member of NBMDA, if you submit your number, you get the final report at no cost. So it's a very valuable and insightful report, and we encourage everyone to take a look at it this year.
Yeah.
And then thirdly, and something that's on a lot of people's mind is our annual convention, which is once again going to be held in November of 2021. And we are optimistic and excited to have started the planning for an in-person event in Dallas, Texas on November 2nd to the 4th. And obviously we had to go virtual like a lot of events last year. It was a successful virtual offering for our first time. We got a lot of our member companies involved, and they were able to get more of their staffs involved. If something happens and dynamics significantly change later this year, we can always revert back to that model. But at this point, we know our members are hungry to reconnect. I've heard from a lot of our members personally that they cannot wait to reconnect. Our event, is a relatively intimate event to begin with compared to some of the larger industry gatherings. So also being in the fourth quarter, we are positive and enthusiastic that we'll be able to pull off a safe and healthy, event in November. So a lot to look forward to from that standpoint, and a lot of work currently being done to program it and get all the details in place.
Yeah, Kevin, I've heard the same thing from a lot of my colleagues in the distribution world and in the manufacturing side. People are just yearning to connect with each other. And our industry is a pretty tight-knit group. We're almost kind of like a family, both on the distribution side and on the partner side with the manufacturers. And I have a funny feeling come November, there's going to be a lot of people flying to Dallas. So it would be great to see everybody back. I know for a fact NBMDA and the hotel will do everything needed to make sure we're all safe and protected. But I would encourage everybody, it's in November. We're sitting in the end of February right now. A lot's going to change between now and then. And I think if we keep an optimistic and bright outlook towards the future, I think this could be a great convention. As a matter of fact, it may be the best one in history.
Yeah, it certainly has potential. And I think your analogy is right. It is kind of like a family. People are really looking for kind of a family reunion to reconnect. They really missed last year. And so if all the dynamics are good, I think we're going to see a great turnout.
Kevin, I think this may actually be more fun than a family reunion. So I one thing in regards to this convention, the greatest thing about NBMDA, and a lot of us are involved with other organizations, NBMDA during the year 2020, I really think came together. You could never predict how well it came together. A lot of it thanks to you and all of the members out there and the directors. I've just never seen our industry and our association as tight as it's been the last 12 or 13 months. So I think this is going to be a great convention.
Yeah, I agree. And it has been nice to see how the membership base has come together over the last year. So a couple of reminders for everyone. If you're a manufacturer, supplier, allied member of NBMDA, this is the time to sign up for your tabletop booth, look at sponsorship opportunities. And so we'll be reaching out to you and getting our supplier base signed up and ready to go. Our distributors, look for registration to open as usual right after 4th of July, so coming up later this summer. And we encourage you to register your people early so we get an early indication of people's interest in the event and can make sure we plan accordingly. So those are big things coming up on the kind of the NBMDA menu. And at this point, Tom, we would like to spend a little bit of time just picking your brain and getting your insights on what you're seeing out there. And so maybe to start, we're a couple months into the new year. How's your business doing so far?
So we're sitting in the end of February. It feels like it's the end of August. It has 2021. I told everybody that 2021 was going to be a wild ride. And let me tell you, it's making 2020 look kind of boring. Our business came out of the gates from coast to coast, from Canada down to El Paso, came out of the gate incredibly strong. And talking with some of my colleagues in the distribution world, they all saw the exact same thing. And it's just super exciting to see it. I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. I'm one of those people that's very cautious, but I will tell you, besides weather, which happened in Texas and a lot of the Southeast and here in the Midwest states, if it wasn't for the weather, February was going to be even 10 times better than January. The weather kind of slowed us down a little bit, but not enough to concern me because I think it was just 1 week blip. But I'll tell you, the start of 2021 has been very good so far.
Great, good to hear. So as we get closer to entering the second quarter of the year, what's your biggest concerns out there?
That's a great question, Kevin. Every single person watching this video probably has the same concern and worry that I have every day. You know, we came into this 2021, we actually started in about the end of November. A lot of people started seeing this pickup happening. And I gotta clarify, the pickup is not as much in our commercial business or our retail, because those sectors are still kind of in a holding pattern, I think, until the people can start getting out and about. But on the residential side, is just been crazy. However, what we're starting to see the last 2 weeks and 3 weeks are just unbelievable amounts of price increases. We're having a lot of issues with containers on the maritime part of the world. And the big thing we're starting to see is products going on allocation, both in the hardware side, on the wood side of things. And I have a funny feeling it's going to get worse before it gets better. And I know that my distribution colleagues are feeling the exact same thing as I am and as we are. Is it's going to cause a lot of interruption and disruption to our business. So we all have to kind of work together, work with our manufacturing partners to get through this. I think it'll be a short-term storm, but it's going to be a storm. And I see it hitting big time come the next week or two.
Yeah, big topic there. So I hear a lot of references to that issue from our members. So hopefully it's not an extended challenge and our members can get through it. It certainly helps as they have deeper relationships through the association and know their supplier base pretty well. Hopefully that'll help them through this.
And this is where NBMDA again is a benefit, because you know, if there's a job that's got to get done and you're having allocation issues, there's a lot of other people you could talk to. But I do think it'll be short term. It's not going to be long term. I hope. I think it'll be maybe the next 30 days, and then we'll see through it.
Okay. In talking to other distributors and your suppliers, what else are you hearing out there?
So I've heard mix. It depends on the product categories that they carry. If they're diversified, I've heard they're doing quite well. If they're maybe more into one segment or another, maybe not as much. And those that are multi-line distributors where they're carrying different products and different categories and segments, they're doing pretty good, similar to us in geographical footprints. But my heart breaks a little bit for those that are just into one or two categories, because they might be a little bit too dependent. But we have to help them and coach them how to diversify a little bit. But I would say overall, they're all doing pretty much the same as we are.
Very good. So just to wrap things up here, what excites you most about 2021 at this point, based on what you know?
There's a lot that excites me about 2021, but you know what the number one excitement I have? You know, we're sitting here going into to March, and I feel like I'm going into August. It feels like 21's been that long so far. What excites me is the continuation of the reinvention of who we are. And I think I look at my own companies, and those that are a part of my own companies, you could probably turn this off now. But when I look at our own companies, we've been doing the same thing, the same way, the same how for the last 20, 30 years. And in the year 2020, We completely reinvented ourselves, and that's what excites me the most. When I look at what we're doing, what we're offering, the markets we're getting into, the services that we're starting to do, we were never a service company. We were a distributor and we ship products. Now we're actually doing services to help with companies get reopened and organizations. I'm super, super excited how all of us, whether you're in distribution or in manufacturing, if we could continue that journey of reinvention, I think 21 could be a fantastic year. But we got to reinvent ourselves. If we're going to do the same things we did in 1999 or 2019, no, it's not going to be an exciting year. But if you challenge your people and your teams to reinvent, it's going to be a great year, no matter what the challenges are.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And a great kind of positive way to end our video here. So appreciate your thoughts today, Tom. And we look forward to our second quarter update when hopefully things continue to get better.
Well, thank you, Kevin, and thank you for the team at NBMDA for doing this for us. And if there's any other ways the members would like to see things, just let Kevin and I know in the group, and we'll make it happen.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right.